You're sitting at your kitchen table at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday, laptop open, doing something you've been putting off for 3 months, calculating your actual net worth. Not the vague mental estimate you carry around, the real number: assets minus debts. You add it up: the savings account, the 401k, the car, the student loans, the credit card balance you've been almost paying off since 2021. You get a number. It's either better than expected, which makes you feel briefly amazing, or it's worse than expected, which makes you close the laptop and go eat something. Here's what nobody tells you about that number. It isn't just a score. It's a description of which version of your life you're actually living. Whether a $900 car repair is a Tuesday or a crisis, whether a better job offer in another city is exciting or something you literally can't afford to consider. My name is Dave, and I spend way too much time thinking about why two people can make the exact same income and end up in completely different financial realities 10 years later. If you've ever stared at your bank account balance and thought, I make decent money, so why does this number look like this? Subscribe and hit that like button, because that question is exactly what this video answers. Today we're going through every level and the specific traps to avoid along the way. Let's start at the bottom. Level 1, negative net worth. The system charges you extra for being broke. You're 23, making $38,000 a year, which felt like real money until your first paycheck got cut roughly in half. You have $41,000 in student loans, $2,200 on a credit card, and $314 in checking. Your net worth, approximately minus $43,000. Your overdraft fee is $26.77. The average transaction that triggers it, $24. JP Morgan Chase collected over $1 billion in overdraft fees in 2024. Not from wealthy people, from people who didn't have $24. Payday loans average nearly 400% APR. The pitch is borrow $300, pay it back in 2 weeks. The reality is, the average borrower carries that debt for 200 days. The exit from level 1 isn't motivation. It's stopping the bleeding before compound interest outruns any realistic savings rate. Level 2, $0 to $10,000. You're 26, you paid off the credit card. You have $2,800 in savings, and it took 18 months to get there. 37% of American adults cannot cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. Not $4,000, $400. The trap here is the exhale. You escape the negative, so you deserve to treat yourself, right? Maybe briefly. But this is exactly when a car with affordable monthly payments and a slightly nicer apartment quietly drain the $2,800 you spent 18 months building. Relief and safety feel almost identical. They are not the same thing. Level 3, $10,000 to $50,000. You're 29, you got a raise, moved somewhere cheaper, and broke the DoorDash habit that was costing $4,200 a year. Net worth around $18,000. Positive, real, yours. Here's what most people at level 3 don't realize. The money isn't working yet. At $18,000 invested at 7%, your portfolio generated $1,260 last year. You're still almost entirely the engine. The trap is keeping everything in a savings account earning 0.5% while inflation eats it at 3%. The exit is opening the brokerage account, starting the Roth IRA, capturing the full employer match, which is, by the way, the only guaranteed 50 to 100% return on investment that actually exists. Everything else is speculation. That one is just free money. Level 4, $50,000 to $100,000. You're 33. Bought a house, have a mortgage of $2,500 a month, a car payment of $618, your 401k has $61,000, net worth on paper, around $74,000. From the outside, you've made it. From the inside, take home is $5,040 a month. After mortgage, car insurance, student loans, groceries, utilities, and gas, you have $478 left. We haven't touched home maintenance, kids, or the basic psychological need to occasionally do something that isn't just surviving. The average millionaire spends about 1% of their net worth on their car. The average level 4 household spends closer to 30%. That car lost $6,000 to $8,000 in value the moment you drove it off the lot. You paid for the depreciation and the interest. The trap is believing you've arrived. Whether you're building wealth or just signed up for every expensive commitment simultaneously depends entirely on what you do in the next 5 years. Level 5, $100,000 to $250,000. You're 38. Crossed $100,000, net worth $127,000. The gains look small and you've started wondering if you're doing something wrong. You're not. Charlie Munger said the first $100,000 is a bear, but you've got to do it. If you save $10,000 a year at 7%, the first $100,000 takes 7.8 years. The second takes 5.1 years. The fifth takes under 3. At $500,000 invested, a 7% return is $35,000 a year, covering groceries, utilities, car insurance, and streaming without you lifting a finger. The trap is lifestyle creep. You got a promotion, take home went up $900, and within 6 months the apartment is nicer, the car got upgraded, and the savings rate is somehow lower than before the raise. It doesn't knock, it just moves in. The exit is automation. They'll move the money before you see it. Your future self is not more disciplined than your present self. Make the decision once. Level 6, $250,000 to $500,000. You're 43. Combined income, $162,000. Net worth, $340,000. Life is genuinely fine. And you're somehow still lying awake at 2 a.m. worrying about retirement. At $340,000, the 4% rule generates $13,600 a year. That's not retirement. That's a part-time job's income without the part-time job. The trap. Both incomes are fully deployed. The mortgage was sized for 2 salaries. Neither of you can quit, get sick for long, or take a pay cut for something more meaningful without the whole structure wobbling. The golden handcuff doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like a life you built. That's what makes it so effective. All right, that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe. Till next time.